Good morning, Laguna Woods. It's Rick from Saddleback. Good to see it's Monday morning. You ready for Music Monday? As you can see, we're in a completely different place. I'm with my family in Trier, Germany. And Trier is the oldest city in Germany. And as you can see, look around a little bit. This is one of the oldest amphitheaters. This is almost 2,000 years old. It was built in AD 150. And yet, it was built by the Romans, and they're not here anymore to enjoy it. But this is where we are. So our verse for today is Psalm 31:3. Our God is our rock and our fortress. And you're going to see where that comes into play in just a moment, because I've invited my most favorite pastor from Germany. Come on in, Rob McGee.
Woo!
So
Rick.
Rob is a pastor in Bonn, Germany. Bonn, B-O-N-N.
That's the west coast of Germany.
And so, Rob, whose birthday did we just, no, actually that's not true. What was what we just celebrated?
Well, we just celebrated the 500-year anniversary of the Reformation. And Martin Luther was one of the key figures of that. And he actually nailed the 95 Theses on the church doors of Wittenberg, which isn't too far from here. And it was something that was opposing the Catholic Church at the time, which basically, Rick, you pretty much know, was man-made religion. It had become a series.
At that time, there's no question that they had strayed from what the Bible was teaching.
They had strayed, and Luther and his partners began to teach this thing called solo fide, which is solo faith and solo scriptura.
Faith only and scripture only. Well, listen, the thing is, so Martin Luther, that's part of why we came, because Martin Luther was not only a theologian, but he was a musician and a composer, and he took a popular song of the day called
Mighty Fortress is Our God.
A Mighty Fortress is Our God, which was straight from the scripture that I just quoted. So we're going to pause and listen to that song. That was good. I love that song.
Yeah.
That's
It's one of my favorite hymns.
It is one of my favorite
And
hymns.
he took it, originally it was a bar song that people had, and was popular throughout Germany, just the different hamlets. And he took the music and said, I'm going to put scripture to it. So
that's why that was our song for today. But I thought it was really interesting, and that's why we came to this amphitheater. And you can see it behind us. And the Christians, at one point, Christians were like the gladiators came out and killed Christians.
I mean, Christians were persecuted during these days in the 2nd and 3rd century, and it could have been that in this very place right here that they were persecuted for their faith. And Luther was persecuted for his faith too. You know, he spent many years facing threats, of course, on his life, and he really decided to stand up for where God was leading him. And I'm glad he did, because we wouldn't have the faith to stand on the kind of truths that he, as a leader, helped us build as a church today.
Rob's going to lapse into a sermon here, that's why you're a pastor.
Absolutely, I'm good at this. I want to preach.
Well, this is one of the largest Colosseums, other than the Colosseum in Rome. This sat over 20,000 people. And it was used in a mighty way. So Rob, you are a pastor of an at an English-speaking church.
Yeah. The church, the American Protestant Church of Bonn, is an English-speaking community, but you know, it's about a quarter of us are American. We reach the international peoples there. But we do, one of the few churches in the area that speak English. And
that's so interesting. So everybody needs a church. And that church is so great that you speak English, because Bonn has a huge international population. That's kind of a common language, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it is also it was a church that was built after the war. In 1952, and it was built to bring together the Germans and the Americans and the many international people in that area. And it's the only church that was owned by the American government.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
So at some point in time, what I need to tell you all in Laguna Woods and why this worked. Rob is my son-in-law, married to my oldest daughter, firstborn daughter, who you've seen before. But you never know. No. How's that working out?
It's working out pretty good. My whole family loves being in Germany.
Oh, in fact, here's my granddaughter and my daughter. Ollie, come on in. This is all family friends now.
We're working on our German.
They're learning German, and Silas is our cameraman, and he's going to be on we're going to do a Friday show with him on. And so, my point today, though, was to get the scripture. God is our rock and our fortress. And that's why we had the song. It's why we had the verse. And the fact is, the Romans they thought they were the fortress. They thought they could handle everything.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this arena. And actually underneath it, it was like a whole huge area where they had storage and baths, and they would keep all the supplies and things actually under the arena, which you can walk through to this day. So I thank you for tuning in. We're going to have a fun show, especially on Friday, and I think you're going to be amazed at that one too, in a different sort of way. We're going to look at God's beauty. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.